Hey everyone, it's Anolin again, and I'm going to get here on Minecraft and have another little conversation. So today it's a pretty nice day out. It's chilly rain, kind of cozy, and I've been thinking of some different things I'd like to share with everybody. I did think about coming on here to um, find a place to build my house, but I thought, nah, I'll just let you guys explore with me. Um, I know eventually I'll just happen onto a good little spot, perhaps in this cave, I don't know. These caves are really cool though. They didn't used to have all this greenery, oh, in them. Hmm. Look, all the way down there, there's grass and stuff. Wow, very cool. Huh. So I was driving around earlier and I was thinking about this um, really good point someone made the other day. And um, they were talking about morality. And I knew that I should talk about it because my husband had messaged me something about morality, like right when I was thinking about it. So it's like it's a good topic to bring up. So, what this man was talking about was we can't judge someone to be moral or even themselves. We can't say that we have morality just because we fear repercussions of our actions. Um, True morality is going to come from understanding, truly understanding, both the dark and the light side of you. Um, Digging into the depths to truly understand who you are, uh, all of your desires, all of your darker aspects, how you react to others, and then once you do that and you truly understand the depths of your being, what you're capable of, I should say, and then choosing to do good regardless of repercussions, um, that would be the true morality. Because if you are not doing something just because you're afraid it's illegal or you're getting in trouble for it, that's how we end up with things like mob mentality. When you take away the enforcement of certain behavior, um, you know, how do you react? How do people handle that? And are they truly moral at that point? Because they're reacting um, in a place that is basically showing that they don't have the ability or the consciousness to react from a place of being sovereign and responsible for themselves. So, and again, when I say consciousness, especially with something like that in morality, that's what I was talking about, really knowing yourself, knowing the depths of yourself, knowing the good and the bad. And a lot of people don't want to look at the darker aspects of themselves, but we say the darker aspects, what we're capable of, that kind of thing. But it's really just being aware and then making good choices from that awareness. Then you're never caught off guard with a choice or a desire that you haven't taken a look at. And that truly increases your ability to be sovereign. Um, and sovereign really just means that you're able to govern yourself, in any situation. And the way I like to look at governing yourself is, has a lot to do with not blaming others for things, taking responsibility for your actions, um, not giving excuses for why you can or cannot do something. Um, you know, there's a lot that goes into sovereignty, and it's a lot of hard work um, on yourself. Um, and you know, people may think they're sovereign, but what would you do without, you know, government or someone else enforcing things for you? And it's actually like a really big topic, and a lot to do with taking responsibility for self. Um, and that's really with everything. A lot of people will talk about things like, um, oh, look at what's happening in the world today, and there's nothing that I can do, and um, bemoan, you know, how other people are handling things or looking at things or managing things. And all I can say to that is the truth of it all is, you can only do what you can do. You can't worry so much about what everybody else is doing. Um, you can be observant and aware of everything that's going on around you, but truly, you should really be focusing on making a better you. And then that creates a ripple effect that goes around and affects everyone around you. So the more you work on yourself, the more you worry about yourself, the more you change your reality as you are experiencing it. Um, that comes down to your responsibility, ability to respond, and the choices that you make in every moment um, to create a better world for yourself. Then in turn, that'll ripple out and create a better experience for everyone around you. And then that ripples out. So, technically, the ripple could be endless. And it is endless. So, if you think that you can't make any changes, that's just simply not true. And it's very disempowering um, to be in that state, to feel like you can't make a difference, because you can. You can make a difference with yourself. And really, for your growth, your soul's purpose, everything, that's really all that matters, is to make a difference with yourself. So start there and then see how the world changes around you. Um, and I know that things seem so disheartening right now in the world, but a lot of that has to do with really understanding that we're in this phase where we really need to be um, learning who we are and everything about us, all the lessons that we still need to learn. If you're aware of what you still need, maybe the lessons won't come in such a haphazard or devastating way. Um, and that comes with like even relationships. People often complain about relationship and, oh, this person is, mean, or they're doing this or they're doing that. But really, if you're choosing to stay in a relationship, um, that's a choice that you've made. And if you're going to choose to stay um, with that choice that you've made, then it's probably best to change your perspective or, um, you know, take a look at what might be good about it. Um, and then if there's really nothing that you can find good about it and you still choose to stay, then there's really not much anybody else can do. It's got to come from you. So, um, you know, that's also going back to how we don't allow ourselves to free our energy. Um, how much energy is bound up in how you feel about circumstances in your life. Um, if you continue to feel disempowered, maybe some of it is perspective. If you could change your perspective, maybe you could come to a better place of empowerment to make a change. Um, and sometimes just changing your perspective will show you that you really don't need to make a change. All you actually had to do is change your perspective. Um, I've noticed that with work, not not my job now, but I've been in other jobs where I would just bemoan every morning, like, oh, I have to get up, and I hit the alarm, 4 times, and so exhausting, and bemoaning having to do anything, and um, all that kind of perspective just plays on itself, and it just keeps getting worse, and it really doesn't serve you to be um, in that emotional place every day, especially in the morning when you wake up, you're starting your day like that. And I tend to believe that we do create our own reality. And if we wake up like that every morning, what are we telling the universe that we want? Um, so I think a lot of that has to do with perspective. Can you be grateful that you have a job, or you know, just even if you um, are grateful that your shower feels good when you get back from your job, that kind of thing. I mean, just finding something to hold on to that um, you can be grateful throughout the day, especially to think about in the morning. That would be a good practice. Um, but yeah, I don't know. You know, it's hard to. You talk about personal responsibility and not being in victim mentality, but it's hard when people are truly victims. And kind of my definition of being a victim would be someone who's in a circumstance where their free will is not being honored by another, um, in abusive situations and that kind of thing. You know, uh, we we have the choice to some extent to not end up in a relationship like that. I think a lot of our intuition has to do with that. Many of the relationships we go into, we have some form of intuition telling us that that's not um, desirable for us. And so you can look back, and see where you haven't followed your intuition and where you've ended up where you are because of that. Um, and then hopefully you're able to choose differently. Um, and some people don't have that choice, and that's very sad. And my heart goes out to them. Because at that point, if then I would consider that a victim. Um, but for the most part, your average complaint, about what government is doing, what your husband or wife is doing that you don't like, or whatever, you know, it's your choice to be there or not be there. Um, And as far as government's concerned, it's your choice to continue feeling disempowered. You can choose to stand up and speak out about what you feel is important, what you think should be done differently. Um, that's all your choice. And it's actually, taking responsibility and um, working with what you can change instead of complaining about what you can't change. And if we all just did that, things would start changing because we would all be taking responsibility for ourselves. And could you imagine if all of society was truly sovereign, um, truly moral, living in the golden rule, then what use would we have for people governing over us? There would be really no point other than to build roads and that kind of thing. And I think that's kind of the goal of any society, right? Is to get to where um, we can become sovereign. But then, too, it's a little hard to see that for me because when I think about it, um, people in a large society just don't have responsibility towards each other. We don't know the neighbor as if they are our aunt or uncle. Um, so I do see that for true sovereignty to come about in any society, there has to be smaller clusters where people feel a sense of responsibility, feel a sense of self-worth in assisting others, because they know the government won't do it, so then you get a lot of fulfillment in helping out your neighbor that needs assistance, and then they repay that by helping you with something or just being there to hear you or listen, um, and when we have a centralized government, it kind of takes away from that personal interaction and responsibility uh, between people in a community. Um, so, I think it is important as we go forward to kind of build closer knit communities that are smaller in scope, um, or just become more familiar with our current communities. There's really not a lot of incentive for that. But imagine if you used the resources of everyone, just on your block. There's probably people that can, sew things, think people that can build things. Um, the more we can come together like that to see our strengths in each other, to appreciate the differences that we all bring to the table, and to be able to really capitalize on those resources for each other, maybe trading, um, you know, or just gifting one another. I don't know. Maybe that's utopia, but that's kind of how I see it evolving as consciousness evolves. Um, and also just respecting each other for our differences, because our differences are what really make us, unique and beautiful, and in the tapestry of who we are. We're all a part of Source, and no one of us is any better than the other. Um, if one of us wasn't here, then the tapestry wouldn't be complete. So um, we're all interwoven together, and we need to start acting like that and truly understanding it in our heart. Anyway, but I know I'm just rambling and exploring this really awesome cave. It's so funny with Minecraft because it's almost like it's just it's meditative for me, but it's also very lonely. So it really makes me think a lot about the necessity of intimacy with others, on a grand scale. It's kind of what we're lacking. We're lacking valuing the differences of others. We're wanting cookie cutter societies. We're wanting, um, you know, we're wanting to find validation, I guess, is all I can see from everything that's going on right now. What I see from so many people is this need for validation, that they're special, that they're different, that they're set apart from others. And that is really sad to me because validation needs to come from the inside. It's not going to come from the outside. Um, because if it's coming from the outside, the only way really to get validation from the outside is kind of an invalidation from of others. So this is better than that, or something like that. Where you know, if you're validating yourself, you know there's nothing better than yourself for yourself. So there's no invalidation of anyone else. There's just the validation of yourself, and that's really, I think, the healthiest form of validation. Um, we all want to be a part of something. We all want to be uh, special and seen and a group and to belong. Um, but we do. And the funny thing is, it's like right in front of our face. We do. We are special. We are human. Um, and I'm not religious, but I do believe that we all are a part of Source. And of course, that makes us special. I really like. Um, I really like the analogy of if Source were to dream a dream, eventually he would dream up you. And so you're validated just in that, just the fact that you exist. And you probably exist in so many more ways than we even understand. And so, you know, it's kind of futile to be separating all these groups as special and validate them because they are valid. We're all valid in so many different ways. But the more we separate, it's actually not validating in the long run because we're taking away of the source of who we truly are. And the reality of it is we are source. We are part of the all, and it's invalidating source to be separating us. It's a lie and it's an illusion. So anyway, I think that's a really big issue that I've seen um, going on in the world today is all of this sense of separation. Um, and it's really sad too because I feel like a lot of that is stemming from invalidation um, and people searching. They're searching for something outside of themselves. They're trying to fulfill this need, um, this void from something outside themselves. And the most fulfilling and beautiful thing you could ever do is to come within yourself and validate yourself and love yourself. And then you take that into the world and you can give to the world. You can help people and you can truly show people what love is. Because you've become love inside out. And so you're just emanating it, and you need to show that as an example to everyone else in the world. So, just my opinion on where we need to be going. Um, just we need to get out of the separation and the victim mentality. We need to change what we can change, and that is ourselves. Look at yourself, know the good and the bad, so you can make choices with that knowledge. Um, Treat others as you would want to be treated yourself. And, you know, and find the greatness in everybody because, like I said, just in your community, our little communities, we probably have somebody that could do something um, in every facet of life. And people that haven't even put themselves out there to try, they could potentially make the most beautiful blankets or clothing, and they haven't even tapped into that because they are so busy with the outside world. They haven't tapped into their own gifts and their own, um, you know, things that they could be offering to the world. Um, so, anyway, just a little bit more to think about. I probably was talking really fast, so I hope you caught everything that I said. And then hopefully, maybe next time I'll find a little house. Maybe I'll go find a place to build while I'm not on the video, but because I just like wandering around and pondering everything. Um, you could let me know in the chat if wandering around and pondering is enough, or if I should actually be focused more on creating something more fun to look at. I don't know. So I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I hope you find some internal validation and see, where you can start making a difference in your life, in your perspective, in your outlook. And that's all I've got for today. Love you all. Bye.